I never want them to have to think about any of those things again. And I'm going to try to do everything I can, inshallah, to make sure that that doesn't happen to them. It's just an instinct. I don't think they're mean to spoil their children.
No, I don't think any parent has that intention. But, yeah.
I think in response to that, I think that that's like good as a parent. And I think also as a parent, I mean, like when I learned to appreciate like the things that I have, it was when I knew that other people do struggle in that way. Like I think one of the ways that I think my parents sheltered me, whether it was on purpose or not, was I didn't even know about a lot of the struggles that other people went through. And so like I wouldn't even know what to appreciate unless I knew that someone else didn't also have that. Like I found out that my friends at school got free lunch because they couldn't afford to bring their own lunch. And so I think like just even like not putting your kids through struggle, but at least making them aware that these are struggles that people go through, you can develop that sense of gratitude.
So that's the big question. Again, why are we talking about struggle? As a way to develop an appreciation for life, and thus as a way to develop an appreciation for Allah Ta'ala. Right? That was the core of the discussion.
I guess you can also instill, I mean, struggle is good, but I guess another way of instilling gratitude in your kids is just, taking them to like homeless shelters and, food pantries and having them help out. And I had a friend whose family, like whenever they went to India, their mom would take them to the slums. Like she would make sure, like whenever they went, that she would take them to the slums just for them to see. So I feel like there's other ways also.
I think that's very, very true, because I do know. So where I grew up, the roads that my father took, I know as a grown man that he didn't have to take those roads, and we'd go through all kinds of neighborhoods of people who were less fortunate, and I do know that that did have an impact on me that I didn't realize was going on as I was growing up. So I think that's definitely true. This is just driving through particular neighborhoods.
It's easy to live in a bubble when you're not exposed to that.
Someone's going to see something. Okay, just a few more points. Bring us to ayah 266. And again, the English doesn't capture the Arabic as much. Ayawaddu, would you thoroughly love that one of you has a Jannah of palm trees? The actual word is Jannah. Is a garden of palm trees and grapevines, which rivers flow, but he is kibar. He is old. وَالذُّرِّيَّةَ وَالذُّرِّيَّةٌ دُعَفَاء, and his kids are all weak. And then it is hit by, what's the translation say? Whirlwind. Okay, so it's hit basically by a storm containing fire, and it's all burnt away. What is it saying? Would you love to have wealth, but you're too old and your kids are too weak, and then your wealth gets all wiped out? It's basically saying, make use of your wealth right now. Right. You don't want to wait, and it's too late. Right. So, for example, okay, the worst case scenario is that I pass away and I give my wealth away, according to inheritance rules and such. But that, inshallah, I'll be rewarded for because I'm fulfilling a fard. But better than that is while I have it now to give. Again, surplus, but I give of it now. So you have this garden that's waiting for you in paradise, beneath which rivers flow, but it all gets burnt away because you didn't make use of it in this dunya. Right? It's like the hadith that you mentioned a long time ago, that every one of us has a palace waiting for us in Jannatul Firdaus. Right? And so that's there right now for each and every one of us. Now, the question being raised is, would you like to have these gardens? It's all there, it's all prepared for you, but you're old, your kids are weak, so you're not going to benefit, your kids are not going to benefit, and then something comes along and wipes it all away.
Are we talking about in Jannah?
So because the word being used is Jannah as opposed to Hadiqa, other words, so Jannah essentially, usually it refers to Jannah on the other side.
But not in this case.
I'm saying you can use the metaphor both ways, right? So we can even use it just as, all right, suppose I have all this wealth, this wonderful garden.
It's like your heaven on earth kind of thing.
Yeah, but I'm not able to enjoy it or appreciate it, right? And so the point is that use it now. And that, I mean, it basically gets explained in the very next aisle. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu anfiqu min tayyibat ma kasabtum. So, all you who believe, spend of what we have, spend of the good things you have earned, and for what we have produced for you from the earth. Right. So essentially, the point being, make use of this, spend, give of this now. So, do not aim the defective spending while you would not take it from yourself. This is another principle of giving, which we can touch upon next week, inshallah. But let me come back to that. But the basic point being, the ethic being that naturally there's an amount we're going to want to save, especially for our society, that, you know, for college and all those things, for our kids' college, or their expenses. But on the flip side, don't become so over the top that I'm not giving to anyone, thus I'm not benefiting in terms of my own akhirah. Because when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, I'm not going to care about my kids when it comes to my akhirah. That's the brutal reality. Any thoughts? So what's the overall theme? We're looking at the ethics, the manners of giving. And the central principle is that I should not look at it as a favor, I should look at it as an opportunity right now. And thus, donate to my
It's interesting how Ghaniyun is repeated again in 267. Know that in Allah Ghaniyun Hamid in 267 instead of Ghaniyun Halim in 263. So that attribute is repeated.
Yeah, well, let's look at this item some more. So spend what you have earned. Spend what Allah Ta'ala has provided for you. And don't give of those things that you yourself would not want. Right? And it's very easy, like when we think of what people give to Goodwill. Like, okay, here's all the clothes that, you know, I'm not wearing anymore.
I'm so generous.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, mashallah, you
Yeah.
know, these garbage bags
Yeah.
full of the clothes that I don't wear. Yeah. And still, yeah, give of all that, but the point is that the best thing of something to give is what you yourself would want, would wear. Right? So imagine it as an exercise, if you'd like. Think of whatever is your favorite article of clothing. Like right now, in your closet, in your drawer, think of what is your favorite article of clothing. See if you can give that away.
The hadith goes with that. I mean, none of you will truly believe till you give from what you love. I mean, it's saying that your iman will not reach its perfection till you start giving those things which you really love.
This is actually something from my mom's side of the family, which is a tradition among her sisters. So it's like it's a good thing, but it almost becomes so, you know, they would go to the store and they say, you know, you buy one for this person, one for this person, one unlock it on.
Oh,
in other, they would always do that. They were buying gifts. One in Allah's name. In other words, this is so I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to buy this. It'll be identical. This for this daughter. This for this daughter. This Allah cannot. This for Allah's. This in Allah's name. Just to give to anyone.
That's awesome.
And it was just a habit that what was always the joke was that was always the best one. Okay, they just out of kind of like ribbing her, they would go, "Oh, I'm sure that's the one that's Allah that's meant for that's to be given away in Allah's name, because those two are not as nice as that one. So I'm sure that's the one that's going away." But that was just a habit that they were. That was just an ethic that they had. My khalas, khalas had, and they
You
were
can
just.
justify spending to in a way that was also giving at the same time.
Yeah, that's like the inverse of the joke. So like this guy who owns this masjid, he's or what is it? There's a guy who runs a masjid and he wants to collect some of the money for himself, right? You know, just as though this is a full-time job. So he decides, okay, I'm gonna put a line, throw all the money in the air, and whatever money lands on this side, that Allah meant for me. Whatever lands on that side, He meant for the masjid. And another guy says, no, why don't you make this circle? So throw all the money in the air, whatever lands in the circle, goes to the masjid, whatever lands outside the circle, you get to keep. Third guy says, no, we're talking about Allah. Throw all the money in the air, whatever Allah wants to keep.
You got it. You can keep everything else.
That's the opposite. Yeah. But I think it's a really good ethic. I'm trying to think right now, what's my most favorite article of clothing? And believe it or not, it's not a particular sweater vest, right? It's actually, I think, a pair of shoes. Weird. Okay, anyway. Okay. So the point is that another ethic of giving is something you yourself would not take, except with closed eyes. Do not give of that. Or do not aim towards those things. Yes, sir?
It says you do not believe until you give.
Truly.
Yeah.
Truly
لن تنالوا
give
البر حتى
what you
تنفقوا.
want. What if someone's a miser and he gives money? Couldn't that be like a way that being a miser could be better for you eventually? Not that you would want to be one.
I don't know if I would say that it's better for me to be a miser, but if I am a miser and I love money more than anything, then yeah, then inshallah that will be my pathway. I mean that's also considered to be one of the cures for hypocrisy, is to give of your wealth. The cure for nifaq is infaq.
I misspoke. It was actually worse than
Yes, and it's sort of in the sauce, yeah.
Hadith, I'm sorry.
Well, by definition, it's also hadith anyway, so you weren't wrong. No. So what is the attitude that I should have for the person then? If it says, do not try to give something you yourself would not take. By giving, you're also having the attitude that that person is just as important as I am. That if my most precious commodity is myself, that person is just as important. That whatever level I would dress myself with is what I would dress another person with. So it's a statement about the value of another person. One thing that is kind of surprising is you would expect all the traditions to speak very heavily about charity, and you'd be surprised by how much they do not speak about charity and how much they do not speak about justice. I'm talking about what the books themselves say. Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism. Everyone has the golden rule in some form. Do unto others as you want them to do yourself. But you'd be surprised by how much we take for granted. There's so many ayahs, so many hadith about charity, right? One of the hadith about charity is that you should reach the point where every one of your joints is giving charity every day. Right? And you'd be surprised how much you don't see that in all the other books. Okay.
And even like in Christianity, they have to give.
You have tithe and all those things,
Yeah.
but I'm saying if you just talking about sheer quantity of how much is focused on, people don't realize this about their text because everyone has a notion, okay, if you're a religion, you have to be giving all that. But if you're actually looking at the texts themselves, there's very little focus on charity and very little focus on justice in these other traditions.
Why is that?
It's just how they played out. Meaning, what I'm saying is essentially their focus is on something else. So what's the big focus in Christianity? You take Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Right? I mean, you won't find the Trinity as much as you find Jesus, right? But if you read through like the whole New Testament, read through the Old Testament, you'd be surprised by how much you don't find charity.
So is it a possibility that it did at one time talk as much as it did in the Quran that they just took out?
That's a possibility. Yeah, I wouldn't know what would be the motivation to remove it, but that's a possibility that it was originally there. But
When you're talking about charity, you just keep in mind that there's so much other charity, than talking about like acts of niceness and generosity and everything. That's all charity too.
yeah,
That's all.
smile is sadaqah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Almost every Jummah khutbah I'll mention that. And I stopped because I realized I was reaching the point where I was just mentioning it to see how many people don't smile. Because I was saying, we all know the hadith, smile is sadaqah, so let's all start smiling. And then one person started laughing and everyone else would just... Right.
Someone laughed in the middle of your.
Yeah, people are usually laughing at me, not with me. But yeah. Okay, let's stop here. Any last thoughts, questions about anything? Umar?
class next week, right?
Yeah, let me double check. What's the date? It's like the 7th.
7th.
I believe everything should be fine. Yes, inshallah.
Iman,
Here?
inner city, I'll just watch the email. It'll be either here or on Amias. Iman, Inner City Muslim Action Network fundraising dinner is next Saturday night. So look for that. If anyone went to MCC Sunday School back in the day, they're having a reunion, like, event next Saturday afternoon. That's it.
My Sunday school tried to have a reunion, but I think everyone was so scarred that no one wanted
I know.
to come back. You know, we had a nice Sunday school. Yeah.
Yeah. It's more of like a networker. It's not
Yeah.
really, yeah. It's kind of a social thing. So that's it. Shalom.
Okay, سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Okay, I'll tell you all, inshallah. And we'll continue next week.
Nadia, your work has the thing. Is it next Sunday night?
Oh yeah, you have a thing.
No, it's during the day.
During the day. Do you want to say? Is that it's at Masjid Uthman?
It's at Masjid Uthman.
And it's
I'll send it to the list.
it's about estate planning and it's like
With Mullah Abdul Hakim, right?
Yes.
yeah.
I like it.
Keep an eye on that, inshallah. Keep an eye. I'll pull. Yeah. Let's pray. Let me make it.
Mullah Abdul Hakim.